To succeed, you gotta do your best. But to win, you gotta be the best. What up is me? Whoa. Okay, there we go. What up is me, Prez, back at you with another Real Ninjas reaction. Got a video here today, and it is called "These Three Couples Were Killed Together by Deadly Predators." All right. So, would you do me a favor and like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff that us content creators actually do, but you never do. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Hold on. How's that? Hold on. Didn't know if I needed all my lights. Hold on. Bang. There we go. All right. So, 4K is real nitpicky. All right. So, what about say? Oh, like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff that us content creators ask you to do that you never do. And I was like, what is going on? Hold on. You know what it is? Hold on. I know what it is. Hold on, y'all. Shit. I'm not even going to edit this out. No. I know what it is. It needs something to look at. I'm going to give it this. It needs something to focus in on. There we go. There it is. All right. So, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff that us content creators ask you to do that you never do. And let's get it started. You also see this Cash App roll on the bottom. If you don't want to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other stuff, it's because you want to send me some money. I know that, okay? If you don't want to support the freeway, it's because you got that bread, bro, okay? And you're going to send me $5, all right? And say, hey, keep up the good work, all right? So, let's go ahead and get started. Without further ado, we have these three couples were killed together by deadly predators. Let's go.
The bond between couples deeply in love often leads them to share every experience together. Yet tragically, this closeness can sometimes result in shared fatalities from fatal animal encounters, whether trekking through the wilderness and falling victim to a bear attack, or joyfully.
Now, I wonder if they actually will have the actual footage of them getting attacked. We'll see.
Swimming in the ocean together only to face a shark attack. A couple's shared adventures may inadvertently expose them to life-threatening situations. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. In today's episode, we go over 3 times couples were tragically attacked and killed together by wild animals. Welcome to Final Affliction.
I got clips of Cocaine Bear out here.
The grizzly bear is a fierce predator and should be avoided at all costs. They have been responsible for over 180 deaths in recent years. Although the majority of the time, bear attacks are very rare. They will usually only attack when they are protecting food, their cubs, or territory, and would rather avoid humans altogether. However, there are some people who intentionally seek them out and enter their territory, like Timothy Treadwell, a.k.a.
whoever that was with that bow and arrow did not make it.
The Grizzly Man. Even at a young age, Timothy had always been particularly fond of animals, and even had a pet squirrel when he was a child. In his adolescence, he had his first encounter with a wild bear while studying them in Alaska, and that's when he realized his true life calling. He stated that he had lost his way at college, and he had fallen into alcoholism and drug use, nearly overdosing on heroin in the late 80s. This close call with death is what motivated him to initially search out bears and make them his lifelong passion. He studied the bears for 13 years.
Went from stupid to stupider.
And wrote a book from his findings called Among Grizzlies, living with wild bears in Alaska. During
Don't sound like he got any like animal training, any survival techniques at all. Just said, you know what, I'm gonna go stay with some fucking bears.
this time, the bears became used to his presence, and he was able to touch them and play with their cubs. In his own words, he stated that he had a good relationship with bears based on mutual trust and respect.
You're stupid.
Following the release of his book, Timothy began to gain some recognition for his work in television and environmental circles. He traveled around the U.S. to educate local schools and appeared on many TV shows to explain his unique experiences with the animals. He even created his own charity with co-worker Jewel Polovec called Grizzly People, with a plan to continue protecting the grizzly bears in their habitat. Timothy was met with controversy throughout his life, mainly due to his interference with the animals. The National Park Service, in particular, were very unhappy and worried with his actions,
Because it's stupid.
as they believed that he was disrupting the animals' natural behavior, as well as putting himself at enormous risk. Timothy was also leading unauthorized tours with visitors to take them closer to the animals, something
So fucking con man. That's all he is. He was brave enough to go around bears. He fooled himself to think that they actually liked him, and then you're gonna bring other people around. Okay.
that was never allowed by the parks. He was thought to be reckless, as he refused to install any electric fences around his camps or carry bear spray, stating that bears would never hurt him due to their relationship together.
What
Despite
about the bears that don't know you? Do you think that other bears talk to you to other bears? About you to other bears?
their fears, Timothy did not bring any further protection from the bears, and he would soon find out that his relationship with these bears could easily be broken. In October 2003, Timothy and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, visited Katmai National Park in Alaska. They were warned of the dangers of camping in the area at this time of year, as food was scarce and the bears were preparing for winter, eating anything they could to store for hibernation in the coming months. The aim of the trip was to see one of Timothy's favorite female brown bears and wanted to check that she was okay and ready for the winter. Amy was very reluctant to do this, as she was particularly scared of bears and just wanted to go home, but she stayed as she knew how important the bears were to her boyfriend. Throughout the trip, the pair tracked a few of the bears, but Timothy quickly realized
That's ultimate trust right there. But he quickly realized what?
that the majority of the bears that were familiar with him had gone into hibernation already, and there were a number of unfamiliar bears. Although
Yeah, we don't fuck with you.
he was slightly uncomfortable with the thought of being surrounded by bears that didn't know him, he still decided to stay and set up camp with Amy. On October 5th,
Dumbass. Come on now. These animals don't know you, and you're hanging around them. These are the ones you didn't make friends with.
the pair were setting up their video camera to get some more footage of the bears. The setup was nearly complete. The camera was on and recording audio, but the lens cap was still in place, providing no visuals as of yet. Soft rain sounds can be heard as Amy prepares the equipment from inside the tent. Suddenly, Amy calls out to Timothy, asking him if he's still out there, as she can't hear him. Then the screaming begins. Timothy was screaming to Annie to get out of the tent and to escape, as he was torn apart by the large 28-year-old male bear. Amy opens the tent and begins screaming at Timothy to play dead to get the bear to leave him alone, which seemed
Does that really work, playing dead?
to have worked for a time, as the pair can be heard discussing whether the bear was truly gone yet. In this time, Amy is thought to have approached Timothy to tend to his wounds.
Dumbass. Look, an animal attacks for a reason, and if you meet, it's coming back to get its prey and get its prize.
Were unknown at this point, but she had to retreat as the bear returned to attack Timothy once again. This is when Timothy begins to panic as he realizes playing dead is no longer going to work. He begs Amy to hit the bear with something, and she grabs a frying pan to smack the bear in the head. The bear lets go of Timothy's head and instead bites into his thigh to drag him away from Amy. Covered in blood and knowing he has no chance of survival past this point, Timothy begins shouting to Amy, telling her to run away and save herself. Although he struggled, he knew enough about bears to know he was done for. Unlike other victims of bear attacks, he didn't go into shock during the attack and was fully aware the entire time he was eaten alive by the animal that he loved so much.
How do they know this? How do they know that?
The bear was silent, aside from sporadic growls and grunts. The only real sound that could be heard during this ordeal is the sound of Timothy desperately trying to escape. His screams of agony and the dull sound of his body being dragged across the dirt away from his camp. Unfortunately, Amy still didn't leave. She was frozen with fear and in shock from the horrifying scene.
And here
She was
comes another bear to eat her.
already terrified of bears and had just witnessed her worst nightmare. She wasn't familiar with the area, being brought to the park by Timothy, and had no idea how to get back to civilization. On the tape, you can hear her suddenly begin to scream. It was a scream similar to that of a wounded animal, as she realized what she had just witnessed, as well as her situation. Unfortunately, her screams only brought the bear right back to her to finish the job, and Amy was also mauled to death by the same bear.
Wow. So instead of running for help like you could have, you stayed there and screamed and let it know you were still there.
The next morning, air taxi pilot Willie Fulton arrived at Kaflia Lake to transport the pair out of the area. He looked around and thought he could see Timothy shaking a tarp to get his attention. But when Willie called out, there was no response. He decided to hike up the path, but quickly turned around as he felt like something wasn't right. Once he
Bears were still over there.
reached his plane, he turned around and saw something that made his blood turn cold. Through the fog, a large, nasty-looking brown bear was staring at him just aside from the path that he had just followed. He quickly climbed back into his plane and set off, hoping to scare the bear off with the engine so that Timothy and Amy would be able to pass through without meeting the bear. He kept his eyes on the bear and could see him slowly eating something. Willie circled the campsite 15 to 20 times, each time trying to get a better look at the bear and what it was eating. That's when he realized that the bear was eating a human rib cage. Horrified, he called the park rangers and asked them to come and survey the area, as he believed something had happened to the bear. A group of rangers arrived and began to trek up to the campsite, with Willie guiding them. They spotted a couple of bears on their way up, but as the bears ignored them, they continued without an issue. Suddenly, one of the rangers shouted, "Bear," alerting the others to the animal about 20 feet away. They began shouting at the bear in an attempt to scare it off, but it soon became clear that it knew they were there, was not threatened, and was actively stalking them. They all began shooting at the bear,
He had a taste for meat already. He was ready.
firing a total of 21 shots between the three rangers. They didn't stop shooting until the bear was shot dead. They continued to the campsite where they found Timothy and Amy's two tents collapsed and torn, with a large mud pile at the front of the entrance. The rangers moved some of the mud aside and found Amy's body with her fingers pushing through the dirt. She had been buried by the bear, ready for winter. When they moved the rest of the mud aside, she looked as though she was peacefully sleeping, except for the clear fact that she had been almost entirely eaten by the bear. They were horrified but determined to find Timothy, although the hopes of him being alive were fading fast. They combed the nearby area and found bits of him scattered all around the forest. His head was found attached to a piece of his spine, with a horrific grimace on his face, capturing the pain in which he died. His right arm and hand were also found lying nearby, his watch still attached. It was a gruesome scene to find.
What did the fucking bears eat?
As the rangers were discovering the bodies, another smaller bear attempted to approach them. He was approximately 3 years old and was stalking the team from 30 feet away, making it clear that he would continue to approach and attempt to attack them. He was swiftly shot by the rangers, who didn't want to take any chances given the situation they were in.
Oh, yeah.
Once Timothy and Amy's bodies had been extracted from the
Any bear coming around here getting leveled.
park, the rangers sent the corpses of the large bear to be investigated. A necropsy was conducted, and it was found that the bear had human remains and clothing within its stomach, concluding that this was the bear that had killed and eaten the couple. The younger bear had already been cannibalized by other bears, so we will never know if it had anything to do with Timothy and Amy's deaths. Ultimately, it's important to remember to respect wild animals and give them the space that they deserve. Even if bonds are formed with the animals, you never know what might happen or what else might be lingering in the forest, waiting for the chance to bring you to your horrifying final affliction.
You never know. All right, y'all. I'm not gonna do the whole video. You know what? I gotta go do something. So this video is 3 couples that were killed by deadly predators. I'm gonna do 2. I'll come back, do the next one. Y'all can find this page on your own and watch the video yourself. So until next time, y'all, like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff that us content creators actually do that you never do. If you feel like it, hitting that Cash App, send me like $5. Say, hey, you're doing a good job, Prez, and we don't want to give you any reaction, or share your stuff, so we sent you some money. I appreciate that. Okay, if you ain't gonna do the free stuff, send me some money because you balling. All right. So until next time, y'all have a great day. Make sure it's snowing around here today. So if you got snow around you, stay warm. If you got sun around you, be cool. Okay, and y'all have a great day. Hallelujah.
Go, give me the gold. I want the gold.